Okay, we will call regular council meeting for Tuesday, February 13th, 2024 to order. Oh, my land acknowledgement, sorry, by heart. As we gather, we are reminded that the town of Bonnyville is situated on Treaty 6 land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and is the traditional homeland and home to First Nation and Métis people today. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nation, Métis, and all First People of Canada whose presence continues to enrich our community. Okay, before us we have an agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda?
Nothing from administration, Your Worship.
Okay, motion to approve the agenda. Councillor Blanchette?
I will move adoption of the agenda as presented, Madam Mayor.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have meeting minutes from regular council meeting on January 23rd. Are there any changes? Seeing none, looking for a motion. Councillor McIntyre?
I will move the minutes of our last council meeting.
Okay, all in favor? That's carried. Okay, this evening we have a delegation, a presentation from the Lakeland Center for FASD. Lisa Murphy. Hi. How are you? Good. Good. So we do have a copy of the presentation. We'll give you the floor to go through the presentation. And then when you're done your presentation, we can open it up for questions?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you all tonight. As you've already introduced me, but my name is Lisa Murphy. I'm the Executive Director at the Lakeland Center for FASD in Cold Lake. So today I am here to provide you with a bit of a better understanding of our services, some facts about FASD, and then how the town of Bonnyville can continue to support us. Don't worry, I'm not asking for any money. It's not that kind of a support. So the Lakeland Center for FASD is located in Cold Lake. Our main office is there. We do have sub-offices in Bonnyville, Bonnyville, St. Paul, and Lac La Biche. We serve the entire Lakeland region from Smoky Lake to north of Lac La Biche, from Cold Lake east to the Saskatchewan border. Our region includes 7 First Nations communities, 4 Métis settlements, a small city, a military base, and 25 small towns and hamlets, with a total population of about 100,000 people. The Lakeland Center first opened its doors in 2000, offering diagnostic and follow-up support services. So we have been around for more than 20 years now. We're pretty excited about that. Much like the rest of the province, the Lakeland region had very few FASD services at that time. And so we developed services and continue to do so that we can meet the needs of our clients. So we envision a region with no new FASD births, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, where currently affected individuals are well supported. It's our mission to establish and ensure that accurate information about fetal alcohol spectrum disorder and effective prevention, diagnosis, and support services are available in the Lakeland area. So the Lakeland Center provides FASD supports from pre-birth to death through prevention, diagnosis, and intervention services. We support FASD across the lifespan. So our model is designed to provide a continuum of supports. Our clients can access and move between each service as needed. So it's not that they are stuck in one program. Sometimes they access multiple at a time. And we develop many new services over the years that continue to meet the needs. One of which is like our second floor Women's Recovery Center, which was developed in consultation with our clients, realizing that a lot of our clients who needed recovery services weren't as successful in some of the mainstream centers. So we serve about 500 to 600 unique clients each year. This is just a snapshot here of many of our programs. I won't have time to go through all of them, but we do have about, give or take, 15 programs going on at once. So who are we? We are well recognized by all levels of government as a best practice model. The Lakeland Center was the first to develop and offer rural FASD diagnostic services in Alberta, and we were the first clinic in Canada to provide diagnostic services for adults. We were the first rural PCAP program anywhere. So PCAP is working with women who are at risk of using drugs and alcohol during their pregnancy, and it's an outreach program. The Lakeland Summer Camp, which has been offered since 2006, is the only camp specifically supporting children with FASD in Alberta. And we often have families that bring their kids in from across Canada. We established our unique second floor Women's Recovery Center, and we're the only agency to do it all from prevention to diagnosis and intervention. We're known for developing new and valuable services in rural areas. So now a little bit about FASD. Fetal alcohol spectrum disorder is a lifelong disability that affects the brain and body of people who've been exposed to alcohol while in the womb. Each person with FASD has both strengths and challenges and will need special supports to help them succeed with many different parts of their daily lives. FASD does occur in all cultures where women drink, and the most at risk continue to be women who are in college and university students, women who make good wages, and of course women who have substance use issues as well. Although there can be some physical characteristics, this actually only happens in less than 10% of the time. And individuals with FASD look normal and can talk normal, so you won't always be able to identify them in the general public like you might with some other disabilities. There's many impacts on the brain, some of which include difficulty with decision-making, following rules, expressing themselves well. They can be unable to remember important things like appointments. They may have difficulty learning from their mistakes or consequences. People with FASD can have poor memory issues, impulse control, language difficulties, learning disabilities, and cognitive challenges. We see this often, these sorts of issues, when people with FASD are not well supported. So they can find themselves in an array of difficulties, including securing stable housing, maintaining employment, having difficulty with addiction issues, poor relationships, and they may have children that they have a hard time caring for as well. The latest research has indicated that 4% of the general population has FASD, and in fact, we say that that's even an underrepresentation. That would mean that about 1.5 million people in Canada have FASD. In Alberta, 181,600 people. In the town of Bonnyville, we're looking at 237 people. And yet another 523 in the MD. So these stats, or these numbers, are based on the 2022 census. So we are As I said, we believe that it is an underrepresentation, and unfortunately, although we're trying to move past COVID, we also think that the numbers are going to start going up pretty quick here as well, from diagnostics perspective. So what can you do? The Lakeland Center for FASD would like to strengthen our relationships with our local municipal governments. We want local politicians to be better informed. We just want you to remember that FASD is not all doom and gloom. Not all people with FASD commit crimes, although that is quite the belief, especially if they're supported, then the outcome is much more positive. We want you to know that we accept referrals for all of our programs from anywhere. There isn't a special way of doing so, as long as they can come from anybody. And we encourage you, or for you in your own lives, encourage our clients to access our services. Our programs are voluntary, however, with encouragement, we know that clients can access services and stay engaged. And that's it, that's what I've got.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'll open the floor for questions or comments. Councillor Blanchette.
Thank you for being here this evening. Your presentation was great, very informative. One of the things that stuck out to me was when you say that people who have FASD look normal and talk normal. Well, of course it's normal because it's their normal. So thank you for acknowledging that. One of the things that I really like about your organization is that it encompasses all areas, so prevention, diagnostics, and intervention. And we're really lucky to have your organization in our community to support individuals that have FASD or have loved ones with FASD. We know that living in rural Alberta can be a bit of a challenge sometimes accessing those sorts of services. One of the things that I don't have a question, I just had a suggestion for you. I sit on the FCSS board, and because you have a prevention lens there, there might be an opportunity for partnership. So if that's a way that we can support you, certainly reach out to FCSS and see if there's an opportunity for us to partner with you in some way, shape, or form. Of course, then that benefits our community.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Lisa, can you, you said you have like a satellite office here in Bonnyville. How many staff or employees do you have that are here, and maybe what do you have in Cold Lake?
Sure.
Just interested in your structure.
Okay, so Bonnyville, it's correct, is a satellite office. So we have an office in the C2 Center. We currently have about 5 staff that are working out of that office. All of our staff are outreach, so they have clients in Bonnyville, but they may be out in the rest of the region as well. In Cold Lake, those numbers are a little more difficult to tell you because we have quite a few casual staff for our second floor Women's Recovery Center. All of our programs are accessible to everyone within the region. So we do have, as I said, we have our outreach workers. FASD outreach workers work specifically with individuals who have a diagnosis and their families. So we try to keep the worker close to the family. So as many, how do I say this, sorry. Sometimes many of our families will move around, so we try to keep them connected with their original worker. So it could be that they've moved to Bonnyville and they had been in Lac La Biche, and so their worker may still be in Lac La Biche. But we try to keep them as connected and really focus on that relationship. With our prevention program, we have workers who are the mentors who are specifically connected. Again, they stay within the town itself. They do go outside of, but our mentors will stay. We have a Bonnyville mentor who will work with the women in Bonnyville. that makes sense.
Yes, yes, that makes sense. Thank you. And then one last question. Can you speak to, like, what is your funding? Are you federally funded? Are you provincially funded?
We
How
are
funded?
provincially funded, mainly through community and social services. There is, they hold the FASD portfolio, so that's where the majority of our funding comes. We also receive funding through Alberta Addictions and Mental Health Services for the Recovery Center. And then we have a couple of other provincially funded grants, more specific to different programs.
Okay. Oh, interesting. All right. There's no other questions or comments. Thank you so much for coming this evening, and as Councillor Blanchett already said, just coming and informing us, and I think it's really important for us to know more about what you do so that we can advocate for your services more.
Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so next up, bylaw establishing the naming committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At the January 23rd council meeting, council provided first reading to bylaw number 1562-24, establishing a naming committee. This bylaw has been created to replace bylaw number 1374-11. This bylaw has been presented to the Governance and Priorities Committee for review and comments, and any recommendations have been included in this draft. This draft includes the increase of council members on the committee from 2 to 3, as well as an update to the current bylaw, which was originally passed in 2011. A corresponding policy has also been drafted to ensure that the bylaw and the policy are consistent with one another. Should bylaw number 1562-24 receive second and third reading, bylaw number 1374-11 will be repealed. With the passage of this bylaw, council will be required to appoint a third council member to the naming committee. Administration is recommending that council provide second and third reading to bylaw number 1562-24, which will repeal bylaw number 1374-11 and appoint a council member to sit on the naming committee.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions before we continue? Councillor Blanchett?
Just one quick question, Madam Mayor. On the naming committee, we currently already have 3, so are you just needing it formally appointed? Okay. In that case, would you like me to?
Sure. Are there any other comments or? Yeah, if you can give a second reading.
Sure,
please.
I'll move second reading to bylaw number 1562-24, establishing a naming committee, which will repeal the existing bylaw.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and we're looking for third reading, please. Councillor Johnson.
I'll provide third reading of bylaw 1562-24, establishing naming committee and repealing the old one.
Okay, sorry, third and final reading.
Third and final reading, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Appointing a council member, because yes, we already have 3 members appointed, and they all 3 are officially appointed to the.
That's correct, Your Worship. It's a
Yeah.
correction of the original documentation that said we have 2 members, but yeah, we've had 3 appointed.
Yeah, and it is official. We don't need to do it.
It is, yeah, so we're good now.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. Moving on. Okay, 7A, we had a request for a grant letter from the Lakeland Society for Truth and Reconciliation. Did you want to speak
Thank you,
on
Your
it?
Worship. So the request has been received to submit a letter of support for the Lakeland Society for Truth and Reconciliation. They have activities being planned for the National Truth and Reconciliation Day coming up September 30th of this year. And due to time constraints, we provided them a letter of support on January 22nd in order to comply with the grant application deadline that they were faced with. And our recommendation is that council ratify that letter of support provided to the Society for their Commemoration Canada Program grant application.
Okay, any questions? No, we're just looking for a motion to ratify. Councillor McAvoy?
I will move the council ratifies the letter of support provided to the society for the grant application.
All right, all in favor? Carried. All right, next we have the invitation to the St. John's United Church Hawaiian Luau event.
Thanks, Your Worship. So you've got a letter and a poster from the St. John's United Church Luau Committee in your packages. It's coming up at the Beaver River Fish and Game Building on Saturday, March 23rd. They're putting together a fundraiser to finance outreach activities and operational costs for the church. Recommendation is the council provide us with some direction regarding who all might possibly like to attend and purchase tickets for the event.
Okay. Yes, I do believe we had a couple councillors go last year.
Yeah, there was myself and Councillor Sharoon that attended last year.
Okay. Should we just do maybe an email polling and then whoever wants to go, then we get tickets? Does that work?
Sure, we can do that, Your Worship.
Yeah, we're not looking for a motion, you just wanted direction, so that works?
That works.
Okay. All right. Policy, naming of development areas, roads, parks, and public facilities policy.
Thank you. At the January 16th Governance and Priorities Committee meeting, draft policy number 23-AD-097, the naming of development areas, roads, parks, and public facilities policy, was presented for comments and review. Recommendations from this meeting have been included in this draft of the policy presented this evening. This policy has been created to ensure it is consistent with bylaw number 1562-24. Should policy number 23-AD-097 be approved, policy number 11-AD-057 will be repealed. Administration is recommending that council approve policy number 23-AD-097 and repeal policy number 11-AD-057.
Hey, thanks, Renee. Are there any questions for administration? No? All right, we're looking for a motion to approve the policy, please. Councillor Kushner.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I would make a motion that we approve policy number 23-AD-097, the naming of the development area, roads, parks, and public facility policy, and repeal policy number 11-AD-057.
Thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, next we have a proposal from Lakeland Connect Media in regards to the 2024 Winter Games in Grand Prairie.
Thank you, Your Worship. So we've received a proposal from Lakeland Connect, which is attached in your packages, to provide coverage of Bonnyville area athletes attending the upcoming 2024 Winter Games in Grand Prairie, February 16th to 19th. The proposed package includes games coverage for 4 days, interviews with area athletes, 4 to 6 videos per day. Events to be covered include hockey, volleyball, and alpine skiing events. Approval of the package would align with Council's strategic initiative of promoting Bonnyville's image on a regional stage and draw attention to our own recreation opportunities, as we've just recently announced that Bonnyville will be hosting the 2026 Winter Games in partnership with Glendon, Cold Lake, and the MD, so we're quite excited about that. And we understand that the proposed package will also include interviews with our delegates during the games. And if council has any further questions, Mr. Chad Colburn is present if you'd like to ask him any questions. Our recommendation is the council approve the proposed 2024 Alberta Winter Games media proposal with the funds to come from our 2024 advertising budget.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Councillor Kushner?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, just one question, and maybe Mr. Colburn can answer it to me. It says the interviews to focus mainly on athletes from St. Paul and Bonnyville. I'd like to see this expanded to Cold Lake, the MD, Bonnyville, and Glendon, just because it's already the Lakeland 2010 Alberta Winter Games, or sorry, 2026. 2026 Alberta Winter Games. Yeah, time warp back to 2010. So that's what I would like to see, to expand it a little bit more. I don't know if you'll have the time to do it or anything else, but I just don't want to see Cold Lake, the MD of Bonnyville, and Glendon get missed in this.
Thank you very much, and Councillor Kushner, thank you very much for that question/statement?
Statement, yeah.
And just to clarify, yes, we will be, it's already in the works to make sure that we're covering as many Zone 7 athletes as we can that pertain to the Lakeland. Of course, Zone 7 being a large zone. So I guess just to give you a little update, I went through some of the sports last night, and we've got a couple of wrestlers out of Cold Lake. We've got some figure skaters out of Cold Lake. We have a ton of hockey players on the U15 hockey team. We have 5 volleyball players right here from Bonnyville and Elk Point. Actually, I'll be going over there this evening to do a little prelim video with the volleyball players. And then we have a girl playing in female hockey out of Dewberry. And then there's a couple of more athletes kind of spread in the mix around there, but it'll be generally focused with the Lakeland in mind, but also with some of our local Bonnyville athletes. And I think that the nice part about this for Bonnyville and their council will be the opportunity to talk to council while they're actually there. I don't know who's all going from council down to Grand Prairie, but we'll have that opportunity to be to have those one-on-ones while we're there and kind of get their take, especially with the announcement of the 2026 Winter Games coming here to the Lakeland. And before I finish, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody here. I know it's a hard job, but somebody's got to do it.
Thank you, Chad. Any other questions, comments? Councillor McAvoy?
I'm not seeing a lot of questions.
Oh, I have a question.
Mr. Colburn. So after you two have your questions, I would like to make the motion.
Okay, sure, yes. Okay, thank you for that clarification, Chad, and I certainly agree that we should be shining light on all these athletes who worked so hard and tried out to get to the Winter Games. I think it's really important. My question is more so around, and I certainly support having somebody there to shine some visibility on these athletes, but my question is in regards to funding. It says here something about Extreme, so are they on board with funding? Have you talked to any of the other municipalities as well?
Yes, so I did leave a letter with the City of Cold Lake, which unfortunately I talked to them prior to council tonight. I didn't even make the agenda. Excuse me. So I did reach out just because there is a relative cost to going, so it won't be just the town of Bonnyville on board with us. We'll have Extreme Oil Field, Lakeland Co-op, Ducharme Motors.
Okay, that's great.
And they're, everybody's contributing on a different value, so it's not that you're seeing $4,000 come in, but I'm more than willing to share that cost with council and to the public as they're watching. Just hotels alone are going to be just over $1,000. Then you've got fuel costs, which will be roughly around 200, and then you've got meals, which is probably going to, I mean, you guys have seen how I eat, so that'll probably be around 600. I'm just kidding. But I mean, as a business as well, we're in it to make a couple of bucks too, so there'll be a little bit left over to put in our coffers, and I'll be able to sleep at night.
Feed your belly, yeah, okay. I will be attending the games as well, so maybe we can connect.
That would
during the
be
weekend.
terrific.
That would be really great.
And can I just add something, Mayor Brasso? I just wanted to add that there'll be a 10 to 15 second commercial spot built for the town of Bonnyville that'll be able to highlight something that you guys might want to get a message out there to the Lakeland. And I mean, it could be something as simple as, yes, you're hosting the 2026 games, but if you want to get a little bit more specific, especially highlighting one of the amazing projects that you guys put together down at Jesse Lake with all those fabulous lights and the efforts that you guys put in towards recreation.
Are there any other questions or comments? No? I guess I'll turn the floor over to Councillor McAvoy.
Okay, it will be my pleasure to move to approve this proposal for the Alberta Winter Games 2024, and look forward to watching and seeing how well we promote the 2026 games, Phil.
Excellent, thank you. All in favor? That motion's carried. Thank you. Okay. All right, next up, request for donation, the Rhinos U14 Volleyball Club.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is a sponsorship request from the Rhinos U14 Volleyball Club requesting a sponsorship in the amount of $1,500 to assist with the cost to attend the U14 Nationals taking place in Fredericton, New Brunswick, from May 2nd to the 5th, 2024. Council has not sponsored the Rhinos U14 Volleyball Club in the past. Administration is recommending that council provide a donation to the Rhinos U14 Volleyball Club in the amount of $250 to attend the U14 Nationals taking place in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Council can choose to provide a donation at an alternate level, which ranges from $250 to $1,500, or not to provide a donation. Administration is recommending that council approve a donation for the Rhinos U14 Volleyball Club to attend the U14 Nationals taking place in Fredericton, New Brunswick, in the amount of $250.
Okay, thank you. I'll open the floor for questions or comments. No? We are looking for a motion. Councillor Kushner.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I would make a motion that we do give a donation to the Rhinos U14 Volleyball Club in the amount of $250 recommended by administration.
Okay. I'd like to make a comment. What makes this team any different? I think we should give them $1,500, as we did with the U15, is it Panthers, that we're sending to the Alberta Winter Games. I can't see this any different. This is a team out of our region that's going to be on a national scale. That these athletes need to pay out of pocket. They don't get the money back. Not like the Winter Games where they get their accommodations, travel, and meals paid for. So I'd like to see us actually go with a $1,500 donation. Is my debate on that motion. Councillor Blanchette?
I tend to agree with Madam Mayor, honestly. I have a hard time saying that we would give $1,500 to this hockey team at I believe it was the last council meeting, and then not recognize this other group in the same way. And I realize that the recommendation coming from administrations, coming from our sponsorships and donations policy, I would just remind council that when we sat here and we talked about that policy, I said this was going to happen when we put this guideline in. So, and we said that then we would have the ability to deviate from it. So I do tend to agree with Madam Mayor on this one.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. How do you differ from one team to the other and say one is just as important or the other one is not important? But nonetheless, any other comments on the motion? There's a motion on the floor. All in favor? Opposed? So that motion is defeated. Okay, we can do another motion then?
Yes.
Go ahead, Councillor Blanchette.
I will make a motion that council approve a donation for the Rhinos U14 Volleyball Club to attend the U14 Nationals taking place in Fredericton, New Brunswick, in the amount of their ask of $1,500.
Any debate on this motion, since we did the other one? All in favor? All opposed? That motion's carried. Okay, next, the 2024 municipal census.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The 2024 interim operating budget includes $45,000 to complete a municipal census. The purpose of conducting a census is to ensure that the town has accurate population counts, which can be used to better plan for community services. There may also be increased grant funding available if our population has grown over the previous census count. The municipal census regulation requires a municipal authority that wishes to conduct a census to notify the Minister's Department by February 28th of the year in which the census will be conducted. And if they will be conducting a shadow population with that census. A shadow population means the temporary residents of a municipality who are employed by an industrial or commercial establishment in the municipality and who have worked at least 120 hours for that employer in the 3-month period immediately preceding census day. If including a shadow population count, the shadow population count must meet the requirements that are set out in the Municipal Census Regulation and the Municipal Census Manual. We have contacted most of the hotels in town to get an indication as to how many long-term rentals each has at the present time to help us determine whether a shadow population count will be relevant. At this time, the numbers show that approximately 260 people are staying long-term in our local hotels. This represents about 40% of the population required in order to be eligible to count. It may be that by the time census is taken between April and June, we have more than the 10% that is required. The Census Manual outlines the process for collecting the shadow population numbers. The process is a little more time-consuming since it involves completing an additional census card or asking additional questions on our census questionnaire, but it is not overly difficult. It may also be slightly more expensive, but not over the budget amount. Even if we do not have sufficient numbers to have a shadow population that will be counted, we feel conducting the shadow population census would be relevant. Administration is recommending that Council direct administration to send a letter to the Minister of Municipal Affairs to notify the department that the town wishes to conduct a municipal census in 2024 and provide direction to administration as to if Council wishes to include a shadow population count with the census.
All right, thanks, Renee. Any questions, comments? Oh, Councillor Blanchett?
Forgive me if I missed it. When was the last time we did a municipal census?
It would have been about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2017.
And at that time, was the shadow population accounted
No,
for?
it was not.
No?
And it was, the census regulation was repealed a couple of years ago by the provincial government, but now it has been there's a new regulation, and they would always count the federal census for grant funding or anything else, but now they will use our municipal census if those numbers are higher.
Excellent. So there certainly would be value of counting the shadow population since we're serving these.
Just to chip into what Renee's saying, Your Worship, the ability to have the option to count the shadow population is something that we've lobbied for many years, so it's nice to see the changes reflected in recent census regulations.
Okay. Councillor McAvoy first.
Yeah, through to Renee, Ms. Stoyles. We've done over the years, we've done quite frequently municipal censuses after the federal census. Now, knowing how the federal census works, have we ever had a time where our census has come in lower than a federal census?
No, we have not.
So it's always come in higher, which means
Yes, it
more
has.
grant money and everything else. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councillor Johnson?
That was basically my question, that our municipal census is a little bit more accurate than the federal census. And I agree that counting the shadow population is really important because we have a number of workers, even for planning, development, even that information for hotels and lodging and stuff is really important. So it's very good information.
Okay. Councillor Langridge?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Excuse me. Just a note. It looks like we're going to be trying to run the census from April to June. Take into account the time of one of our major industries that we serve, that is spring breakup, to keep in count. So we may want to consider that when we're looking at doing a shadow population.
Okay. All right, so I think we have good direction here to go ahead, and do we all agree the shadow population should be part of it? Okay, so it gives you good direction? Perfect. Yes?
Can I get a motion to send a letter to the minister?
Oh, you want a motion? Okay.
I'll give you that motion, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor McAvoy. All in favor? Carried. All right, request for donation, the Bonnyville Oilmen's Society.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is a sponsorship request from the Bonnyville Oilmen's Society, requesting a sponsorship varying from $1,000 to $1,500 to assist with the costs towards the Family-Free Fun Day on Family Day long weekend, this weekend, Sunday, February 18th. Council sponsored the Bonnyville Oilmen's Society last April in the amount of $1,000 towards their annual golf tournament. Administration is recommending that council provide a donation to the Bonnyville Oilman Society in the amount of $250. Council can choose to provide a donation at an alternative level, which ranges from $250 to $1,500, or not to provide a donation. Administration is recommending that council approve a donation for the Bonnyville Oilman Society to assist with the costs towards the Family Free Fun Day in the amount of $250.
Thank you, Janine. Any questions or comments? Councillor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Just wondering, are they having another golf tournament this year? Do we know?
We don't know yet?
We don't know.
No.
So in our council bylaw or policy that we just passed last time, I think, they're supposed to lump these together so that we don't have this issue. Correct? Okay. So, yeah, it'd be nice, right, to know the full amount, the full ask all the time, so we're not piecemealing this all the time, because I don't have a problem giving them $1,000 if there's no golf tournament, but I do have an issue giving them $1,000 if they want another $1,000 for a golf tournament. You know what I'm saying? So it would be nice to know the things together.
Any other questions, comments? Councillor Blanchette?
Did we budget for the golf tournament again this year?
It would have been put under the various activities that council attends, which includes golf tournaments and banquets and stuff like that.
Gotcha. My only comment would be I'm in favor of providing a donation for $250. I'm not sure that I would give the full like the $1,000, $1,500. We're doing and if we get to my committee report, then you'll find out that we're going to do a winter fun day for the town of Bonnyville next month as well. So I guess I'm fine with supporting it, but we're also doing one too. So yeah, that would be my comment.
Yeah, I'd like to see us support this event over the golf tournament. The golf tournament, I think, is closed. It's not open to the public, as I understand, or you have to be a oilman, right? It is open to the public, or? Well, it's open for registration. Oh, registration, yeah. Whereas this is something free for anybody. And I see more residents from the town using this because, you know, it's fishing, which, you know, if you don't live on the lake, you don't get to do. And I've gone to this in the past with my kids. They do have the horse-drawn carriage, and so I'd like to see us, I'd rather support this in amount of $1,000 as opposed to the golf tournament, if we were gonna support them in one way or the other. It's just my comment. You want any other comments? You want me to make a motion?
Why not?
Oh, sure.
I would, thank you, Madam Mayor, I would tend to agree. I think just letting it be known that if we're for the oilmen's this year, that we're in favor of supporting them again, but we do favor the Family Fun Day, as we don't have, from my knowledge, a whole bunch. I know there's something going on at the C2. I don't know if that's what day it is, but I know this will be something good for our residents. Bill's looking at it.
Just to chip in, that's the same weekend as the Ronald McDonald Winterland Invitational Tournament the council sponsors, Your Worship.
Yeah, and that's for hockey players. There's still a whole other families who will go out there for sure. Yeah, and I know when they stopped doing it, people were, what's going on Family Day? What's going on Family Day? So yeah.
So I'll give you that motion, Madam Mayor, to approve a donation to the Bonnyville Oilmen's for the Family Fun Day at a value of $1,000.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, another request for donation, the Bonnyville Requins Swim Club.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is a sponsorship request from the Bonnyville Requins Swim Club, requesting sponsorship to assist with the costs associated to attend the Open International Swim Meet taking place in Banja Luka, Bosnia in May. The attached sponsor letter indicates exclusive Requin sponsor information varying from $500 to $2,500 with logo advertising on apparel and swim meet banners. Council has not sponsored the Bonnyville Requins Swim Club in the past. Administration is recommending that Council provide a donation to the Bonnyville Requins Swim Club in the amount of $250 to attend the Open International Swim Meet taking place in Banja Luka, Bosnia. Council can choose to provide a donation at an alternate level, which ranges from $250 to $2,500, or not to provide a donation. Administration is recommending that Council approve a donation for the Bonnyville Requins Swim Club to attend the Open International Swim Meet taking place in Banja Luka, Bosnia, in the amount of $250.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? I mean, I see this as the other teams that we're sponsoring. Again, this is all on their own dime, and if it's bringing attention to our swim club, I'd definitely like to see us go more than $250. I would go in line with the $1,500 we've already been doing, or the $1,000 to get our logo on the winter season t-shirts and swim meet banner. That's my suggestion. I mean, we talk about provincials, now nationals, now we're looking at international exposure, and I think it's really good. Councillor McAvoy?
I tend to agree with you, Madam Mayor, and I would be willing to put forward a motion for a $1,000 donation.
Thank you. Any questions on the motion or any other comments? Call the motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. All right, next up, U15 Lakeland Jaguars, request for donation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is a sponsorship request from the U15 Lakeland Jaguars female hockey team requesting a sponsorship varying from $350 for a bronze sponsor package to $1,000 for a platinum sponsor package for the 2024 Hockey Alberta U15 Female Tier 1 Provincial Championship to be held at the Energy Centre in Cold Lake from March 28th to 31st of this year. Council sponsored the Lakeland Jaguars back in 2014 in the amount of $3,500 for a gold sponsor package. Administration is recommending that Council provide a donation to the U15 Lakeland Jaguars female hockey team in the amount of $250. Council can choose to provide a donation at the alternate level, which ranges from $250 to $1,000, or not to provide a donation. Administration is recommending that Council approve a donation for the U15 Lakeland Jaguars female hockey team for the 2024 Hockey Alberta U15 Female Tier 1 Provincial Championship in the amount of $250.
All right, thank you, Janine. Any questions or comments? Councillor Blanchette?
I have a comment regarding the sponsorship packages. So I would think that we would want to go at least to $350, considering there is no $250 package. So I would certainly want to get some recognition. So, but I see this as the other ones. I mean, like, how do you say no to one and not the others, right?
Well, and this is a tournament in
Exactly.
Cold Lake.
The value, yeah.
Bill?
We can support that, Your Worship. I think we might have that left in our 2024 council receptions and public relations budget.
Okay.
Should be good.
Okay, thank you. All right, we do need a motion and a decision. Do you want to make that, Councilor Blanchard? Go.
I will move that council approve a donation for the U15 Lakeland Jaguars female hockey team for the 2024 Hockey Alberta U15 Female Tier 1 Provincial Championship in the amount of $1,000 for platinum sponsorship.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, Request for decision, the fleet half-ton replacements. Who's speaking on that? I know, I'm just kidding. Hi, Bonnie.
Thank you. So we are replacing 2 of our half-tons this year. They're up for renewal. Actually, they're past. We tend to keep things a lot more than 10 years for their capital lifespan. So I did put this in at the beginning of the year just to avoid having to wait for quite a few months before we got anything. So we had quite a few bids, which was nice to see. We also posted on APC just to see what was out there for competitors. And we came in with Tercea Motors came in the lowest. So we would recommend that council approve the budget, or the purchase of 2 half-ton pickup trucks for a total of $109,364.50 from Tercea Motors.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Bonnie on this request? So I'm just curious, Bonnie, so this is replacing vehicles that you already have, I mean, they're
Yeah.
probably not worth anything to sell.
Right.
They're just
They usually are done when we're done with them. Their last stop is the landfill to drive out there, as long as we can limp them along, and then, yeah, they generally don't go to auction because they're,
Okay, but still usable if you need them, like you said, around the landfill, or?
they go there, but then eventually they end up with bigger ticket item problems, and it's just not worth fixing them at that point. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you. All right, so we are looking for a motion to approve these. They are in our capital spend in the interim budget for 2024, but because it's before that, Councillor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I would make a motion that we purchase 2 half-ton pickup trucks for $109,364.50 from Tercea Motors.
Thank you. All in favor? That's carried. All right, then next is a request for decision for the 2024 gravel truck purchase.
Yeah, so this truck that we're replacing again is actually a 2011 Mack. We have carried it over a few years because it was in good shape and we didn't require a lot of repairs on it, so it wasn't nickeling and diming us to death. Then COVID hit and we couldn't have got a truck if we wanted to, so I did tender it out last year twice, and I only had 1 company bid on it. So I chose to just carry it over again. This company that bid on it has also bid this year, but we have not received warranty work or service at all from this company. So we also had to send this vehicle to either Edmonton or Lloydminster for service, and we just didn't have any luck with them at all. So as you can see in here, this is why I actually requested to go with the second lowest, which is Mack out of Edmonton. They can service this truck and do warranty work right here in Bonnyville, which is a huge bonus to have it just go to truck zone. Yeah, so I'd ask for an increase in the budget as well as to approve it in the interim. So the budget increase would be $258,600 for a subtotal, and we would have to authorize a new Mack gravel truck be purchased from Nor Trucks out of Edmonton. And then the Mack would go to auction in March here, the old Mack.
Okay, excellent. Councillor McAvoy?
Just a comment on this. I think the recommendation, I support the recommendation for the MAC for a couple of reasons that you've stated, but also the automatic transmission is far better designed for our uses than a 13-speed or a 15-speed transmission on a place where it never gets over 50 kilometers an hour. I think you'll find that the automatic will reduce your overall maintenance costs significantly.
Yeah.
Councillor Blanchett?
Thank you, Bonnie, for presenting this. I wanted to just give you a comment. Thank you for not coming with just a recommendation to go with the lowest bid. I appreciate that when you know better, we do better. So I appreciate that, and I really like that it'll be able to be serviced right here in Bonnyville, support a local business. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Oh, Councillor Kushner.
Thank you. Just the clarification, really. When the Mack truck goes to auction, do those funds go back in the general capital reserve, or do they?
They go back into the equipment replacement reserve, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Oh, Councillor Johnson. Go ahead.
I'd be willing to make the motion on this. I agree with all of you with the comments, especially being able to service it here locally and not having to send 2 drivers and running for hours on end to try and get warranty work. So I will make the recommendation that we purchase the 2024 gravel truck to Nor Trucks for the total of $258,600, disposing of the existing Mack at auction, and the required $24,175 comes from the general capital reserve.
Okay, excellent. Questions on the motion? All in favor? That's carried. All right, we will do our committee reports, and we will start with Councillor Kushner, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. January 21st, I had my second LICA meeting, second time around. And then also on January 21st, myself and most of the rest of council met 2 Alberta Muni members, Councillor Andrew Knack from the City of Edmonton and Mayor Bill Rock from Amisk. So I said 25th. January 29th, Regional Policing Committee. That was a no, still February or January. That's that meeting we had for the regional. They were talking about the policing, all that stuff. Anyway, that was with Councillor Langridge and Renee Stoles as well. January 31st, the naming committee. February 1st, Municorps executive meeting. February 2nd, we met with the nurses and doctors, prospective nurses and doctors here. That went really well. Good job, guys. Brian, great job. A lot of really good comments there. Hopefully we get some nurses to come our way and some doctors. February 3rd, I had the pleasure of going to Irene Walecki from the Bonnyville Regional Fire Authority, her retirement party. It was very well attended and very well done. Really enjoyed that. February 5th, Community Policing Meeting, and February 7th, Lakeland Community Health Advisory Committee meeting here in Council Chambers. That's all I have.
Okay, I'll add mine as well. On the 25th of January, the supper with the Alberta Munis representatives, which was very enjoyable and I think worthwhile get-together with them. On the 26th, I'm just going to lump all these together. 26th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 13th, I dealt with the medical student visit through RPAP. I'll talk a little bit about that right at the end. I also on the 2nd attended Irene Walecki's retirement from the Bonnyville Regional Fire Authority. She retired with 28 years of service from the Bonnyville Regional Fire Authority and a total of 42 years of municipal service. She started as a summer student with the town of Bonnyville when she was 17 years old. So congratulations to her. I think that kind of dedication to public service should be well recognized. On the 6th, I attended a library board meeting. The 7th was, I also had the opportunity to attend the Lakeland Community Health Advisory Council meeting. And last Sunday at the Ag Society, I got to judge the speaking competition for the local 4-H clubs, which was, it's interesting watching, and there's a couple of future politicians in there. And then today we had the wrap-up and the review of the the weekend that was hosted by the town of Bonnyville and RPAP and Covenant Health for nursing students. In total, we had 28 students. 22 of them were nursing students from Grant MacEwan and the University of Alberta. The balance were medical students, future doctors from the University of Alberta. The event went extremely well. They came up here on the Friday night. We hosted them Friday when they got in. Some of the medical students were writing exams, so they didn't get here till 8:30. So I thank all of the counselors that joined me to welcome them. That was quite appreciated. Saturday they spent with Covenant Health doing workstations at the hospital, learning stations, everything from suturing to intubation. And then at lunch they had the Bonnyville Regional Fire Authority hosted the lunch and had the opportunity to explain rural emergency medicine to them. There was further events as we went through, finishing up with a joint hosted event at Shaw House with the MD. The interesting part of this is since the event was hosted, Covenant Health now has received 5 applications from these students to do their practicums here and to do their summer placements and that. So that's 5 as we speak now, and they're talking to 2 more. So, you know, the feedback that we got from the group was very interesting coming out. 17% of them said they had seriously considered working in rural healthcare. When they resurveyed them going home, 49% of them said they were now seriously considering looking at working in rural healthcare. That's a very successful weekend, and hopefully out of this we may get a couple of nurses, maybe a young doctor down the road.
Okay, January 24th, I had a Northeast Region FCSS meeting, and I have found myself co-chair of the planning committee for the province-wide FCSS conference in November. That was followed by an events committee meeting. As I had alluded to earlier, we do have our annual Winter Fun Day coming up on March 16th. That'll be held at Pontiac Park, so stay tuned for the poster on that one, but you may want to mark your calendars if you want to come. January 25th, I also attended the dinner with council and directors Bill Rock and Andrew Knack from AB Munis, and the next day, and I know he doesn't seem to be here this evening, but Regional Fire Chief Dan Haney graciously took some time out of his day so that Councillor Sharoon and I we attended with those gentlemen to see the hopefully not so distant future home of the BRFA, and they were highly impressed with, oh, sorry, Councillor Kushner. I don't know why I do that to you all the time. Sorry. Yeah, must be the white hair. January 29th, I had my first SPCA board meeting since being back on their board, and I did want to report back that they're doing some really good work there, specifically with their spay and neuter program, and I know that was something that we talked to them about when they came as a budget delegation, I think of the year before last, so that was great to see. January 30th, I signed checks for Lakeland Lodge and Housing. January 31st, naming committee meeting. February 1st, SPCA policy committee meeting, and as previous councillors mentioned, that RPAP weekend event, I attended the evening of February 3rd and that morning of February 4th, and it's great to hear that we've had an impression on them. It was really great to connect with them. I'm excited to hear that. February 6th, members of the events committee attended to present the proceeds from our 2023 Festival of Trees event to the Health Foundation, and with the help of all of our great staff and volunteers, we raised just over $13,000 to provide to the Health Foundation, so that was really great to see. February 8th, Canada Day Committee meeting. And then February 11th, Councillor Johnson and I had the pleasure of attending a very impressive ballet performance of Beauty and the Beast in Lloydminster. That was put on by the United Youth Ballet Company, and that was featuring some really talented dancers from across the region, and they were really great they were really happy to see us there, actually. And it was great to not only see them provide a stage for the event for all of these dancers from across the region, but they also empower young girls to get involved in dance despite their shape or size. And that was really great to see. I loved that. February 12th, yesterday, I was able to attend the very exciting announcement of the 2026 Alberta Winter Games for the region. That was held in Edmonton. And then this morning, finally, I had another FCSS AA Conference Planning Committee meeting. And that is all.
Excellent, thank you. All right, January 26th, I, along with other municipal leaders in the region, met with Premier Smith. We spoke on Highway 28 and healthcare. On February 2nd, I had the pleasure to meet and greet the nursing students or the post-secondary healthcare students who arrived for their weekend of learning all about rural healthcare. February 3rd, I attended Irene's retirement. Although we're sad to see her go, I'm super happy for her and her retirement. It was really nice to see that there was a fire chief from every station there, and they all spoke, even from Cold Lake and St. Paul, and also three regional fire chiefs, 2 previous fire chiefs who were there to send her off in her retirement. So it was really, really nice. February 7th, I attended the NAGO meeting. We've solidified our priorities. As always, Highway 28 continues to be on there. I'm on that subcommittee, but we're just waiting for the capital budget to come out. If we don't see Highway 28, Highway 28, at least in the 2026 capital budget, we're gonna hit it hard with the advocacy on that. And then the other one is, the other priority is AHS, and what we really want to hammer home with them is splitting up the north zone. We feel that hopefully this is a good time as AHS goes through a change to advocate for the need, because the north zone is so big that it's interesting that they make decisions in Grab Prairie, for our region here. So those are our 2 priorities. And then I attended the debrief today for the post-secondary event. Neil?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Most has been covered, but I'll just quickly go off. We had an events committee, January 24th, and then we had the supper with the delegates from Alberta Munis. Then the information session I attended on the policing structure for committees going forward on January 29th. And then I attended a police committee meeting on February the 5th, as well as on February the 5th, the Regional Sports and Tourism, as Councillor Blanchette alluded to. That group was put together in hopes to attract major events in our area, and we were successful with the 2026 Winter Games. And then on February the 6th, we had a library meeting, and I believe that is all for me.
All right, so January 24th, I attended the events committee meeting. January 25th, I attended the supper with the 2 Alberta Munis members. January 29th, I attended a Ohana Center meeting. January 31st, I had a Bonnyville and District Historical Societies meeting. February 3rd and 4th, I also attended the reception on Saturday night and Sunday morning for the RPAP and doctor recruitment event for the students. February 6th, I was at Town Hall here for the presentation of the check for the Health Foundation. February 7th, I attended the Zoom presentation of Lakeland Community Health Advisory Council. February 8th, I had a Canada Day meeting here at Town Hall, and excited looks like we have our headliner booked. Contract came in tonight, so we're just finalizing that, and we have our opening act done for that day, so excited about that, and to hopefully tease it and do an announcement here in a little bit. And then February 11th, I attended the ballet with Councillor Blanchette down in Lloyd, and hats off to all of our local dancers. I would say 3/4 were probably from our area that were dancing down there. And it was a great presentation of Beauty and the Beast, and apparently And our trip down there, I was the beast in Beauty and the Beast, I was told, so that's all for me.
Oh, Byron. I know.
That wasn't a compliment.
Okay, under correspondence, we have a letter from Alberta Hub for expressing their extreme disappointment in the cut in funding for the RITAs. And then Appendix A are council receptions and public relations, up to date to February 7th. Are there any questions? Yep.
I have one for administration, if that's all right. Just to do with the garbage truck, we got it all fixed up and it's rolling again?
Yeah, so they had to go to Lloyd and pick it up. The radiator actually split. It's still under warranty. It's just one of those
It happens.
things. So he is working the evening shift tonight, trying to get today's route completed so we can start fresh in the morning.
Yeah, well, thanks for all the hard work on that, and you know, literally a 3-day turnaround for something like that's pretty darn good. And I just want to say hats off to the town too, because there was constant communication through Facebook and on the app going out to residents, so we knew what was going on. So thank you very much for that. Good job on that. So
Thanks.
Excellent. Any other questions? No? All right, so we have a couple items in camera. Motion to move into camera, please. Councillor McAvoy? Go ahead.
Motion to move in camera.
All in favor?